Welcome back to Drift HQ build series on the 370Z Nismo that we're going to be giving away. We have this whole table full of parts for suspension that Chris is going to go over for you.
Yep, first round of installs. We got our DC coilovers, of course. There's a lot of aftermarket suspension components on this car already, but we're going to be going back and replacing with our ISR parts as well as some OEM uppers. The axles right now are really bound up, which we're going to show you here once we get inside, as well as some diff bracing and the eccentric lockout. So we're going to start with just the installation of all the alignment parts and just get the rear end exactly the way that we want it. Everyone likes a tight rear end. We have our tow arm, our camber arm, and our traction arm, and we were replacing the aftermarket arm that's on there with an OEM upper.
Why?
I will show you. All right, ISR partners with us for this project to provide some nice parts for you. We already have some aftermarket units on here. These ones are pretty tired, as you can see. Also, the threads inside of these units are a little bit smaller than we like. You know, if you're gonna be bumping into stuff before you just bend a control arm immediately. These ones have the double adjusters, as well as nice little dust boot protectors, so you don't get a bunch of dirt inside your pillow ball mounts. Now, you can see this has an aftermarket upper control arm. What we covered in the JZX video as well was that leaving one of the arms OEM helps keep your axle lengths kind of where you want them. This car used to have a whole bunch of camber on it and it was a little bit stancy. We're gonna go back to the OEM because if you look at this, so what happens is one person aligns the car, pulls in the lower to fix the camber, another person does the alignment, adjusts the upper to get the camber, then you end up with this. Axle has no end play in it whatsoever. So that binds up the axles, shortens the life of your axles, and breaks stuff. And you end up with that happening. So going back to the OEM upper, it'll help keep our whole support and everything in the right position. We're gonna take these knuckles out as well and clean them because they're all crusty. And we're gonna just probably go ahead and remove our parking brake assemblies while we're in there as well, because we need to get those out of the way for our dual caliper setup. So since we're gonna be upgrading our exhaust system in a later video, we're just gonna go ahead and remove from here back just to let you guys see what we're working on a little bit, as well as be able to get access to where we're gonna end up putting our diff bushings and things like that.
Wild. The cameraman. And the cameraman.
Look at this guy.
Just living.
So what we're going to start with, we're just going to unbolt all the control arms from the knuckle, as well as remove the axle nut. That way I can just pull this whole knuckle assembly up out of our way, and we're going to end up replacing this axle as well for you guys, because I don't like it. It still actually locks up. I mean, you saw Adam sliding the thing around and it still works, but it's definitely not going to live much longer. So pop these bad boys out and unbolt the coil.
We're doing both?
Yeah, I'm taking both knuckles out. I want to clean them up. Nobody likes crusty, dusty knuckles.
Yeah, if you take it out, do yourself a favor. If it's already out, paint it.
Paint it, clean it. Don't be
Clean
that guy.
it, scrub it down, and then put it back in. It takes another 20 minutes, and then it looks good. And then when you're putting it back in, you're not covered in grease.
Yeah.
And the car doesn't look crusty.
That's why we love the new cars we built, because we don't get dirty working on them.
This is how I started it. No, I didn't have to break it free. I just started doing this. I'm like, wonder how tight this is.
The answer is no.
Yeah.
Well, since we're not going to be using the parking brake assembly because the dual caliper will be bolted into place of the drum brake that is your parking brake, I'm just going to go ahead and cut these out because
El Chapo.
it's way easier that way.
Is the car getting like a pull-up style handbrake?
Yep, we're going to put it in the OEM location.
Real sleek and sexy. I'd like to put them in the OEM location, especially if it's like a street car. You're not making a full drift build. It just leaves everything nice and clean. You can get in the car, it looks like it's a normal street car, but yet you got the fun stick right there.
Chris, so coming from the BMW world, they don't really use these. How many times can you use this?
I mean, until it's wonky. I mean, it's not super wonky yet, but
Do they ever break?
they definitely break. But realistically, if that's getting damaged, that means your axle nut already came loose and your threads are probably damaged anyway.
Cotter pins. Is that what they call? They call castle nuts, right?
Yeah, that is indeed a castle nut. Joel's learning.
They don't have these on BMWs. Big Nissan things.
Yeah, they just hammer the side of them.
Yeah.
Bunch of animals.
Wait, aren't you German?
Yep. Stand by what I said. This is Nissan life, not BMW life. Look at that.
Whoa! Show me
just
again.
moves.
Show me again.
It just moves.
I don't believe it.
Look at
There's
that.
no
Watch.
way.
Look at that.
They're not
What
frozen
the-
stuck?
So I don't have to beat the shit out of this thing to get it out. It's just,
BMW, take notes.
you love to see it. Don't take too many notes.
15 and 8. like when we had it before, and this is what your hands look like when you're working on it before. And that's just a little bit of wire wheeling and spray paint. No excuse to put crusty parts back on your car. Clean it up.
Make cars great again. Yeah, care about your car. You know, I care about what the outside looks like. How about what underneath looks like? You know what it looks like, and you got to deal with this crap. I hate grease.
So disregard our mess over here, but our old rubber bushings were a little tired, so our boys at SPL hooked us up with these nice spherical things. We pressed the old ones out just using a ball joint press, and now we're going to install these guys. So I'm gonna use my hone and just clean the hole up, get any kind of burrs and stuff out, and then pop these guys in with the same ball joint press. Alright, so while we got the wheel bearings out and the knuckles off, make it real easy to show you guys how to install the Drift HQ dual caliper bracket. So this will work with the Akibono brakes as well as the non-Akibono, the base model brakes. Comes with the new hardware that holds the wheel bearing in place, as well as the hardware for the calipers and the pass-through bolts for here that'll keep everything tight, prevent the bracket from pivoting. So you actually have 6 bolts holding the dual caliper bracket in place. Goes right in there. We're gonna line our bolt holes. Entirely up to you guys. I prefer to put some thread locker on this just because you have 2 bolts, or the bolts will be passing through 2 layers of metal there. So this just makes you a little extra assurance. And I know I got it dirty. I'll clean it up. Yep, so since we're already working on it, we're gonna have something to dangle our knuckle from while we install all our control arms. I'm just gonna go ahead and put that new BC Racing rear coil in place. Slide it up. I'm just gonna finger tight the upper bolts for now so it gives me a little bit of wiggle room. And now I have this nut, which I know is the right diameter for the OEM shock bolt. The shock bolt that was in there was not OEM. I'm just going to match a bolt to this thread pitch, and then I'll have something that'll be long enough to go through the base of our coil. We only have 2, well, previously only 1 stock arm, which was the traction arm. So that's kind of our only base point of reference, as well as the upper control arm now. So with these 2, the rest should be kind of easy to get into position. Obviously more alignment can be done on the rack. This is just kind of get it as close as possible to where we were before. No point of reference as to how this one goes in, but what we do have for this one, because normally it is adjusted with an eccentric bolt, is we have eccentric lockout. Eyelets are installed. Now we can just pop this onto here. Obviously it's going to need a lot of adjustment, but you know, for now you can get everything in place, tightened up, and sorted out. So we found out that this actually comes with 2 different sets of inserts for your spherical bearing. So they have a shorter one for your 350s and then this wider one for 370, which would explain why we had that slack on the end of it. So now when we put this in here, it's actually nice and tight. I like that a lot better. Lessons were learned today.
What's that thing to the left side of your hand?
This?
Yeah, that.
This right here is what makes a Nismo so good. It's got a subframe dampener. Just kidding, I actually have no idea what the hell that could possibly do, because it just goes from the brackets that hold the subframe from one side to the other. But this is actually some kind of tiny little shock. Maybe somebody can enlighten me.
It says it's for performance and it's dampening something, and it's made by Nismo.
It's made by Nismo. That's how you know it's a real Nismo. Bring them around, feed them in, one at a time. I also painted this bracket, because you know.
Oh yeah, that guy was rusty.
Didn't like rusty bracket in there. Everything else is too pretty.
And the other side magically got put on too.
Yeah, it's crazy how that happens.
But this side looks exactly like that side, but just mirrored, so.
Yeah. So I got these spacers that we didn't end up using for the control arms. So what I do is just snug that up with not tapered lug nut. This one's a little flattened out on the back. You can look at the back and you can watch it suck right in there.
Alright.
Look at that. Studded.
Alright, so.
Joel's bringing it back to 2004 with tiny little cameras.
Yeah, they didn't have vlogging back then.
Yeah, we found out YouTube started in 2005 and that camera's from 2004. So that was just for, you know, people being creepy, filming the family on vacation.
Or filming Chris do car things.
Well, all that's assembled. Our rotors, because we're not putting those Crusty Johns back on, are getting delivered here shortly. So I'm going to put the rear sway bar back on, and then once the rotor's on, we put the caliper on, and we are still awaiting our secondary Akibono pretty caliper that we got brand new from Power Stop. So be a nice brand new reman unit. Then we're going to move to the front suspension. We got angle kit, upper control arm, put the front coilovers in there. And we got a new knuckle, because this thing has a modded knuckle on it because it used to be a Stancy boy. gonna put a stock one. And we're gonna paint it and clean it up just like this one. Yep, drop the arm out of here to get it out of the way because the base of these is a little bit bulkier than stock, which is good, but it does get in the way of that caliper bolt. Fortunately, you don't have to remove these calipers if you ever have to change brake pads. But now with our dual caliper bracket, there's spacers that are included in the kit that you're gonna have to use because it does space your hub out a little further, so it's just gonna space that out to where it all lines up where it's supposed to go. And you can play the fun game of trying to get the spacers right where they're supposed to go.
Look at that. Dip brake, baby. What else we got here?
Since we got Donnie here moving to the FDF section of our build. Look at that wrap job. Gotta appreciate the boys for not damaging your parts. Don't appreciate them for when you have to actually unwrap it.
Yeah. Wrapping is fun though.
Yeah,
Unwrapping, not so much.
Yeah, you guys are really doing the most over there.
Well,
It takes like 5 minutes to unwrap one thing for FDF, but it never gets damaged. And it's all powder coated.
So this the FDF diff brace ties in to not only reinforce where your toe arms mount in the rear, also braces the diff and also gives you a jack point. All in one, baby. So we have our FDF Mini Mantis kit, which comes with the lower control arms, the caster adjustment points, your knuckle adapters, sway bar pickup points. So we're going to be putting that in, and we're also going to install the uppers, which give you just a little more angle because you don't have to worry about interference from your upper control arms. We're going to finish the rear of the car first and put our diff brace on, and then front suspension. Oh, and by the way, everybody who was talking shit about our Mucho Machos, great tires, all right?
Yeah.
They're not going to be on the final wheels. These are just burners.
Yeah.
Don't worry about our Mucho Machos.
You're getting way better wheels than these, by the way. We just put these on here because we didn't want to show you the cool Johns that are going on it. And yeah, you know, we'll burn these off afterwards. But this car is not coming off the lift until it's done. We've taken it off 7 times. And it's not fun. We're going to move these tires way over here. They don't exist anymore.
Yeah, so somebody modded this knuckle because this car was stancy. It's very low. What they did is they modded the knuckle for one, so your upper control arm doesn't hit the strut tower, which we don't have to worry about now because we have different upper control arms and we're also not slamming the car. They also did this to add a bunch of camber to the car. But
look at these welds though.
yes, they did a fantastic job putting it together. But
Talk about how it's the right way to do
we're
it
not
too.
going to do it though.
Most of the stancy boys that don't care, they just cut a hole through the top of the car so the arm can actually go up into...
We've all seen that RX-8, by the way.
Horrible, horrible. This, if you're going to stance your car, it's dangerous, you know, because you're welding aluminum. It's really, 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 really thick. But this guy did it right. Multiple passes with brackets on the outside. It's pretty cool, you know?
It's a boy.
All right, so we're wrapping up the end of our week. We are waiting on our wheel bearings still because we didn't realize that one of these front bearings was going to be bad, probably when the car was all stancy. So we got 2 fresh wheel bearings coming for you guys. We did finish installing the FDF angle kit as well as all of our rear suspension. Next episode, we're probably going to be getting into doing a little bit of the interior, as well as we're going to bring Donnie in here to show you exactly how to properly align all of your FDF stuff. But we already have a decent little bit of angle there, and that's without any adjustment. We're still going to bring the lower out, adjust caster, as well as bring the upper control arm out a little bit.
The end. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and for every $5 you spend at drifthq.com, you get entered to win that car. No purchase necessary.
And give us some insight as well. Follow in the comments and stuff, so let us know what else you want to see on the car. Thanks for watching.